everybody, this is Bryan Hogue. Welcome to the Chiller Night Live, where from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 p.m. we'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic, we'll make a show out of it. Until then, we'll just do a little chiller chatting, and I will be talking about the Chiller Night Escape Experience. Now, if you're not sure what the heck this is, the Chiller Night Escape Experience is a horror-themed escape room store at the Cranberry Mall in Cranberry, Pennsylvania, in Venango County. So, if you, and we'll be talking much more about this throughout the duration of this hour. So, Stephanie says, hey, y'all, how was your weekend? Mine was very good. How was yours, Stephanie? Thanks for joining us. Very cold, I will say that. How's it in your neck of the woods? In fact, I will, I'll tell you what the weather situation's like right now in northwest Pennsylvania, where I'm located in Butler County. Is 10 degrees, but it says it feels like -4. Not sure exactly how they figure that out to a science, but that's what we're looking at. Weather forecast for tomorrow is 16 degrees will be the low, a high of 17 degrees. Now that's really like close, right on top of each other. A low of 16 degrees tomorrow and a high of 17. It has a little igloo there just to illustrate visually how cold it will be. So hope you're doing a little better than that wherever you're at. Stephanie says, good. Cold like today, but good. Yeah. Yeah, very cold. Very cold. But I hear there's plenty of that to go around, so Dave says hi. Hey, Dave, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we are, we're cold, but I tell you what, we got a lot of snow, but, you know, not doing too bad considering. Stephanie says, hey, where is everybody? I know. Well, at least you, me, and Dave are here. So so that's good. We can make a show out of that. But yeah, it's a weird thing. It was I don't know, like the first couple weeks of January, you know, sometimes like that here in northwest Pennsylvania, but I know a lot of areas, a lot of other states are getting hit pretty hard, and it's winter. It's winter, you know, that's what happens. Dave says dress warm. Yes, dress warm, folks, and make sure you save your, put those gloves on when you go out, and pay attention to the coldness, because I'll tell you, I was out shoveling the other night, and it was probably about down to 0 about, and I just didn't realize how long I was out there, so I was out there a little longer than I thought, and I didn't have any gloves on. I should have, but I didn't. I got back in, and then all of a sudden my hands were like numb. They were like really numb, you know, and then when the feelings started coming back, it was like my hands were on fire. So gotta watch that. I'll know next time. I just wasn't thinking about it. Dave says no rang bells for Salvation Army. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be cold, wouldn't it? No rang bells for Salvation Army. I suppose that'd be tough. That'd be quite a commitment to be sitting out there in weather like this, ringing the bell. So, John says, and now from somewhere in Pennsylvania where your tauntaun will freeze before you get to first safety marker, it's Tuesday night, and it's time again for the one, the only Chiller Night Live. This is Crozak the Grand, and now here's Bryan Hogue. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. I always appreciate that, and thank you for joining us once again, and your elaborate intros. They really make the night for me. PBR Street Gang is giving me the wave. I shall return the gesture. Thank you for joining us. Dave says, remember me. Dave, remember me. I can't say that I do, Dave. I'm not sure. Give me, remind me. Remind me who that would be. All right, so until I get an update here from Dave, let me get back to the escape room part here. I mentioned the escape experience. Let me see if I have. Aha! There's a look from outside of the store. As you're looking in from the Cranberry Mall, you can kind of see off to the left there. That's that whole thing, that whole intro with the stone walls and that whole white wall there, all the way back to the back of the store, and then kind of L shapes back there. That's Jack Shadow's House of Terror. And it's pretty large. And then you can see the facade of the Witching Hour escape room. And then beside that, that's not pictured there, is the Zombie Outbreak escape room. So, and then the Witching Hour will be next. And of course I mentioned Jack Shadow's House of Terror. So we got all that going on, although the store's been a little quiet here lately because I haven't been there myself. Dave says, used to go to the wrestling shows. Ah, okay, we were just talking last week about Dark Horse Championship Wrestling. So, yeah, those were good times. I really enjoyed that, and but you never know. You never know. I got a lot going on here with the chiller stuff, but maybe one of these days that Dark Horse will get back up and run again. John says, I finally got to use some Star Wars puns and the weather was perfect for it. Yes, it's very Hoth-like here lately, so that was perfect. Speaking of, let's see, opening. Oh, I wanted to mention, speaking of the store, do I have another picture of the store? I wonder if I do. Let me look real quick. No, I don't think I do. But, let's just put that up again. That is opening up in stages. That front there, you can see the front counter. It's a quite the lengthy counter because that's going to be turning into a gift shop here soon, very soon. We'll be having horror collectible merchandise that we'll be putting in there and selling that. And also, so that the first phase of Chiller Night Escape Experience was in 2022. We opened up the store and opened up Zombie Outbreak, the Zombie Outbreak escape room. And then, like I said, in 2023 we added Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Now in 2024, and very soon, we'll be including the Witching Hour. That will be phase 3, and then the gift shop. So, oh, there we go. There's another picture of it. The storefront, kind of at an angle. See that? Looking inside. And then you can see Zombie Outbreak escape room there. Brian says, hello, everyone. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us. And let me get back on the webcam here. John Wayne. John Wayne. Hey, one of my favorite actors. Hello, everyone. Hey, John, thanks for joining us. Let's see. Paul says, hey, there's Paul. Good evening, my brother, and how are you and Ava doing? We are doing very well. You know the drill. Hey there, my chiller family. We got 4 inches of snow today in the DC area, and Manus and Torgo shoveled out the driveway. Wow. About time they did something to please us. No, they please you all the time there, Paul. I know you love that movie, Manus, The Hands of Fate. I don't know so much about everyone else here, but no, that's good. That's good. Did something positive for you. Stephanie says, hey guys, I was asking about you. Yeah, she was too. Not just saying that. Victor says, hello. Hey, Victor, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Tom says, howdy, all you space travelers. Howdy there, Tom. Thanks for joining us. So that was all the kind of the ins and outs of the escape experience. And I was talking last week about, well, I mentioned the Dave here about Dark Horse Championship Wrestling. But another thing we were talking about, I had brought it up, I'd mentioned it, about the Roku channel, the Chiller Night Roku channel. If I can get that up and running, this year also. That would be pretty cool. I don't know enough about it yet, and I'll be honest, I haven't really delved into that. But it seems to me that I opened up a Roku account as far as like it seems to me I have a memory of actually starting this at one point. I don't know whatever happened to that. So, but I will look into that because if I can start up a Chiller Night Roku channel, I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know how to do it yet, but like I said, I really haven't really, focused on it either with everything else going on. Dave says, not like Buffalo. Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah, they got hit pretty good, didn't they? Jason says, good evening. I love that you are still doing the chat. I also love that you plan a gift shop. What products? Ah, thank you, Jason. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I was going to, like I said, when I announced that I was going to pull a plug on the show here, it was because I was going to discontinue the, first of all, Stream TV still does play Chiller Night Theater on Saturday nights at 9. They play 2 episodes. Let me put their, come on, where are you at, Stream TV? There we go. They have a couple episodes that they play on Saturday nights. So if you're looking to watch Chiller Night Theater, check out Stream TV. They've been playing the show for all these years, so they're still at it. They play a couple movies Saturday night still, so I appreciate them doing that. So check out Stream TV at streammedia.tv. So the only major difference is it's not a pre-show anymore, and I'm not submitting, like a schedule to them. So, but I let them know because I appreciate them giving me a format for all these years. On Saturday nights, they are very, very welcome to play Chiller Night Theaters, Chiller Chats, anything that they'd like of my content. So they're always welcome to do that. So always want to give them a plug here. Let's see. Dale says, hello, Brian. Hey, Dale, thanks for joining us. Roger says, good evening. Hey, Roger, thanks for joining us. Let's see. John says, let's give a little birthday shout out to directing icon John Carpenter. Oh, I didn't know that was one of my favorites. You guys know that. I didn't know it was his birthday. Let's see, where am I here? Director of classics, Dark Star, Escape from New York, Starman, Memories of an Invisible Man, The Thing in the original Halloween. Yes, he's got so many great movies. John Carpenter does. Dale says we need to bring back the Thursday nights. I know. I really wish we could. That would be awesome. I would love to because honestly, like we have the Chiller Night Facebook group page. I have to take a few seconds for that to register for me to say it right. The Chiller Night Facebook group page. So if you're not a member, you want to become a member, come on in. Just gotta. It's a private group, so I forget if there's questions to ask or something. Like a lot of groups, you gotta maybe answer 1 or 2 things. I guess to just show that you're not a bot. I would imagine, but that was, I think, if I recall, that was kind of like the main thing of starting that up is because we were starting up the watch parties on Thursday nights. So, and that was really cool. Now it's like I'm not sure what to really put on the Facebook group pages, to be honest with you. I don't know. I would include it here for this to multi-stream onto that channel because right now on Facebook we got mine, Bryan Hogue. We got Chiller Night Escape Experience. We got Jack Shadow's House of Terror, and we got Chiller Night Theater. We got those pages on Facebook that you can watch this. And I was going to include. I've tried including the Chiller Night Facebook group page. See what I'm saying? And if I do that, I can't see who. I can see the comments, but it doesn't say who is saying the comments. So it screws it up for all those pages. So I just left it off. Stephanie says, happy birthday, John Carpenter. Yes. Paul says, I was 57 last Sunday. Yes. And we wished you a happy birthday. So I know you texted me afterwards and saw that you saw that. So I'm glad that you did, because we were thinking about you, and I hope that you had a very happy birthday. I hope that you got a chance to watch your favorite movie, Menace: The Hands of Fate. So what could make a birthday better? Tom says, don't worry, Brian, I didn't get John anything for his birthday either. All right, whew. I felt a little awkward there at first. Stephanie says, happy belated birthday, Paul. Paul says, I'm getting old, but Manos will never age. He is an iconic classic, he says. Oh, Paul. Well, I'm glad that, did you have a good, I hope you had a good birthday. And Stephanie had a birthday a few weeks ago, so if you ever have a birthday and we didn't happen to catch it, just give us a shout out here. So we want to make sure that we recognize and acknowledge you and celebrate your another trip around the sun successfully. So that's good, very good. But I would like to add, I'm hoping within the next few days, because I haven't been to the store recently. Just it's a lot of stuff going on, and for me to get there, it's by appointments only. But once I get the gift store in there, it'll likely be I'll be sitting there or having somebody at the store running the counter, probably while I'm working and building stuff. So if I can get the third escape room built and open in 2024, I will. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I might just do the witching hour and the gift shop, and then have the zombie outbreak, the witching hour, the gift shop, have those running, and then do Jack Shadow's House of Terror again in 2024 this year. And because the other one is going to be quite an endeavor to get the third one built. But I mean, it's going to be probably my favorite one. So love the theme. Paul says, I had a good birthday, but different without Dad, but Manos filled the hole. Okay, well, that's good. Yes, I'm glad to hear that. PH Tristan Plays. Says, hi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but hi. Thanks for joining us. Dave says, busy guy. Yeah, I like to keep myself busy. In addition to my regular job, it's like I say, it keeps me off the streets. Paul says, hey there, Ava, if you're out there. I'm not sure if she's watching or not. I guess we'll see. John Wayne says hello. I love that, John Wayne. El Dorado, my favorite John Wayne movie, by the way. Hello, everyone. It's me, SBC, YouTube. It's SBC, going under the moniker of John Wayne. Okay, YouTube has somehow an error, or is it just me seeing the wrong picture? What? Well, I mean, I don't know. YouTube has somehow an error, or is it just me seeing the wrong picture? I don't know. Is everybody seeing and hearing me okay? I'm looking at my screen and what you should be seeing, and everything looks okay here, but I don't know. You let me know. John Wayne. What the heck? What did you change? I like that. Okay, you changed your name this week. Or are you on a different account this week? Did you make up a different page for yourself? Dave says, tell my wife hi. She knows me. All right, Dave, I will do that. I will do that. Stephanie says, I can hear and see you. All right, thank you, Stephanie. I figured, but yeah, we're not quite sure. I'm not sure what to tell you there, SBC. What the heck is going on? But I think everything's running okay on my end, and everybody else is here. So, might just be the distance. I don't know. Paul, no, Paul says, it's okay. I see everything differently. I'm on drugs. Ah. Well, that will happen. I guess that will be the effect. But if I did do a Roku channel, is that something you guys would be interested in? I guess it comes back to, you know, I've been getting asked a lot about this, and I guess I'll just bring it up here. You know, with Chiller Night Theater, you know, stuff like Chiller Night Theater, Chiller Chat, will there be a return of those programs? All I can say is, like, never say never. I'll never say never about that. If the conditions were right, I absolutely would bring that stuff back, because I did have fun with it. I just ran into not having enough time to do that. And now, particularly now, with the construction and, you know, of everything else I'm trying to do, I just felt like I would be only henpecking the show and not giving it the best quality that I would like to be giving it. So at some point, if I brought it back, I would like to actually do a combination of pre-recorded and live shows. I would still love to do live shows, like actually from the little, I almost said studio. I mean, basically it's the haunted house room where Jack Shadow's sitting. I have a picture of that. Let's see. There's a few pictures of the haunts, but they're not labeled, so I'm not sure what they are before I hit them. Do I have any? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Well, I got a picture of Jack. All right, so we all know Jack Shadow, our horror host. We all have come to love over the years, hopefully, in some way, shape, or form. PH Tristan Play says John Wick. John Wick? What, instead of John Wayne? Do you like the John Wick movies? Is that what you're saying? We were just, I don't know. I talked about those just last week. I did mention the John Wick movies. I don't know if that just happens to be a coincidence or if you were watching last week, but because I was comparing, I was just basically saying, you know, about the Equalizer movies with Denzel Washington versus the John Wick movies with Keanu Reeves. So we were talking about that last week, so interesting that was mentioned, whether it's coincidental or not. Paul says, brain surgery, seizure, what else could possibly be wrong here? I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that one. The chart, but I'm happy. My vertigo holds is off the chart, but I'm happy. Well, hopefully you're sitting down as you're watching this and keeping your bearings about you. Dave says, cool. John Wayne says, no, I meant the account. I'm logged into my normal SBC account, but my comments come out as John Wayne. Yeah, so you're not doing that. Okay. Wow. Did you know? Did you see it before I started saying John Wayne? What the heck? SBC, that's a weird thing to have happen. Why would it come out as John Wayne? Paul says Manos in 3D would be great. Yeah, it might not right now with your medication. You just said your equilibrium's a bit off, so I don't know. That might be a little I don't know, imbalancing. Amanda says, good evening. Good evening, Amanda. Thanks for joining us. Paul says, I need more beer. Ah, don't we all? John Wayne says, Manos 3D. Dave May says, evening. PH Tristan says, says, yeah. All right. Well, what did you prefer? I know that's not a chiller horror science fiction thing, but, now that it's brought up, we brought it up last week, so did you have a preference, John Wick or The Equalizer, or haven't you seen the Equalizer movies? Ava and I, last weekend, I think it was last weekend, we watched all three of the Equalizer ones, and we watched the first two John Wick ones. So my opinion is I enjoy the Equalizer ones better, but it depends what you're looking for. Like I was looking for a little bit more of a serious content. As far as, the John Wick stuff's kind of, I thought it was like comic bookish type of action. And sometimes if you're in the mood for that, that's what you're looking to watch, and that would be a perfect type of movie for that. But I did enjoy the Equalizer ones. John Wicks were entertaining. I watched the second one. I'm looking forward to watching the third and the fourth. They got a fourth one out now too. But all in all, I got to say that I have a preference for the Equalizer movies. Al says, hi everyone, sorry I'm late, but Dark Soul is in the house. All right. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Al. Bonehead, there's Bonehead. Hey, where's Renee, by the way? I wonder where Renee's at. Bonehead says, hey, hello, Chiller Night crew and Brian and the Duke. I know, we're honored to be visited by the Duke tonight. John Wayne is my hero, and it's great to see him here. Wow, I know. John Wayne came to visit on my show. Paul says Jack Nicholson would be great as Manos. You've talked about that as a remake. As a remake. Interesting. Let's see. No, Paul, Pee Wee Herman for the remake. Oh, is that going to go over well? Paul, are you going to take that off of him? Doc says, greetings, Brian. Hey, Doc, thanks for joining us. Interesting. Yes. How the heck is everybody, I don't know if everyone's just jumping on here, if you walked away and came back, but SBC is on here. We normally know him as SBC. Tonight, however, maybe it's the ghost of the Duke himself who has, worked his magic on things here and transformed SBC into John Wayne. So tonight we are seeing SBC as John Wayne for some reason. For those reasons to which even SBC is none aware. Bonehead says, hey, Tom, great to hear from you. Hope the new year is treating you well. Yes, I hope it is with everyone out there as well. So, that's so funny. Pat Sylvan, hey, Patty, thanks for joining us. Says, non-Western John Wayne movie I love is The Geisha and the Barbarian. Oh, that's different. I never hear any, I'm aware of the movie, but I never hear anyone mention that. That's interesting. Yeah, non-Western. What about, like, he done a lot of war movies, of course. And then there's The Quiet Man. That's a non-Western, non-war movie. So, yeah. I was on this kick there for a little while ago. Was it last month? Maybe it was last month. Where I was watching the old John Wayne movies. They're like under an hour, all of them, from from Lone Star was the production company, from like 1934, 1935. It was kind of cool seeing the Duke in the old movies where he's first starting out. Before he became real famous, of course, with, Stagecoach, of course, was his big theatrical debut. Excellent movie. And Tom had mentioned about John Carradine in that movie, so I took a trip back and watched some of the clips and did see him and remembered that John Carradine was in that movie, as of course. Stephanie says, should we call an exorcist for SBC? Oh, let's not, because I kind of like having John Wayne around. I actually like that. That's funny, though. Tom says, yeah, but SBC is channeling his inner Duke. I don't know, SPC. Do we need to do what Stephanie's asking? Do we need an exorcist? Let's see. Bonus says the live chat artist formerly known as SPC is now John Wayne, and Paul Lynch is officially hereafter known as Manos. Patty says, yes, I forgot The Quiet Man. Did you enjoy that movie? Obviously a good match between John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. John Wayne. Just like saying that. I opened the John Wayne channel a few years ago to upload old public domain westerns, but I haven't used it for a while. I haven't logged in there for at least half a year. That is so weird. Bowden says, I love every John Wayne movie. Him and Clint Eastwood are my favorites. I'll watch any movies they're in. Yeah, yeah. Doc says, I like Brannigan. Okay, there you go. There's another non-Western, non-war movie. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of funny. You guys are, mentioning, I guess you typically do, obviously, the Western genre comes to mind with John Wayne, but then after that would be like the Sands of Iwo Jima, the Green Berets, all the war movies that John Wayne had done over his career, and then, yeah, the other ones outside of those genres don't really pop into mind a lot. He has such a vast array of movies. Stephanie says, stand down, y'all. If Brian's okay with it, that's fine by me. Okay. All right, then no Exorcist unless SBC gives us a signal. 2 dots for yes, 1 for no. All right, Bunny says, saddle up, Pilgrim. The chat's about to roll. All right. Patty says, Maureen had her brothers in that one as secondary characters. Oh. See, I don't remember enough about that. I mean, the behind-the-scenes stuff as far as her brothers were in that one. Interesting. I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. John says, I finally managed to watch on Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Prince of Space with Phantom of Crankor, the space despot trying to conquer Earth. Best space villain since Ming the Merciless. Was he, John? Was he really? I could only imagine. Paul says, was John Wayne's real name Marion? Yes. Yes, it was. So, Bonin says, Marion Michael Morrison. Patty says, and it's probably a good thing that they did change his name, his stage name, his actor name. That just fits it. It just fits it. Patty said John Wayne also played a Chinese general in one of his movies. Yeah. Isn't that the one that they think that did they film that in a nuclear, in an atomic bomb testing area, like close enough to it to where everybody involved with that movie on set? Again, I'm shooting from the hip here with a lot of this memories that I'm trying to remember it. I actually came down with cancer, and could it be that that's where he got his? I don't know. I'd have to look at the timeline too. Like when did he come down with it? As for quite a while, he had only one lung, and I'm trying to remember. Like was that cancer in his lung? He had the lung removed, and he was doing a lot of movies still after that with only one lung. Yeah, I don't know, but a movie icon, that's for sure. Tom says, was it Shanghai Noon that Jackie Chan played a character called Chong Wang? Oh, I don't know. It might have been. I remember seeing that movie when it first came to VHS back from a Blockbuster Video. I rented that, so that was too long ago for me to remember that. PH Tristan says, I love the war movies of John Wayne. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, the Sands of Iwo Jima, probably one of my favorites. The sergeant there. They handed me you guys as a regular Easter basket. They did. Well, I'm going to tell you how high to jump and all this. I wish I knew that dialogue right now before I just tried it. But you know what I'm saying. The old tough, grizzled sergeant training the young Marines. Let's see. John Wayne. Speaking of John, my favorite non-Western John Wayne movie is Hatari. Okay, that's a well-known John Wayne movie. That's right. Stephanie says my dad loved the John Wayne movies. Oh man, I wish I would have known that this would have been the topic. Even though it's funny that this is not it's not a chiller topic, but we do this. We go with whatever is the popular topic of the. You know, I'm not so. Focused on the chiller all the time if we're having fun with this, but I wish I would have known that, because I would have had some of my I would have had more material, I guess, to talk from. But a lot of this I'm shooting from the hip and my just a memory. But I always enjoyed watching the John Wayne movies growing up. Kind of like my chiller theater. Watching the scary movies. Well, just as much as the scary movies, my family, my dad particularly, watched. We watched westerns all the time. You know, John Wayne, Clint Eastwood. Some of them I don't remember specifically. Like if you were to throw up a certain title, I might not remember that that's the one being referred to. But I just remember, like it was every weekend. And even the Lone Ranger. My love of the Lone Ranger comes from that time growing up and watching the Lone Ranger and Tarzan, all that stuff. Those were the heroes back then as you were growing up. This was even before well, it was after that too, but long before Star Wars even came out, in '77, which I was instantly a fan of that and still am, some of it. When you were a kid, like I've mentioned on here before, I was probably one of the last generations to truly run around playing cowboy and Indian, that type of thing, You don't see that as much. I don't even know if you do see that now. I remember as a kid growing up, that was a lot of fun, and watching the old westerns, because it was there was a mythology. That's kind of like our mythology, as Americans. The Old West, the Wild West. I don't know, the stories, the legends, whether they were real or not, it didn't matter. That was our mythology, if you think about it. Stephanie says, my dad loved the John Wayne movies. Yeah. But it says John Wayne played Genghis Khan character in The Conqueror. Not one of his best, actually, probably in his worst movie he ever did. Yeah, that one was, and I think it probably, as far as, like a major motion picture going into this, it didn't do well at all. The reviews were horrible. It didn't make them money whatsoever. And I did watch a documentary about John Wayne, and it did mention a good, decent part of the segment was what they were talking about that. So, I don't know, maybe he just wanted to try something different, but it cost the studio quite a bit. Patty says, I heard about it. I think his family tried to sue the government because of it. So there is possibly something to that. I think I'm remembering that right, too. So, interesting. Paul says, yes, it was a prequel to Manos. What? Okay. Patty says, John Wan was in Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. Okay. She wore a yellow ribbon, Tom says. Yeah. There's some good memories here. Just as endearing to me as the Chiller movies. In fact, so much so that at one time, I say at one time, I actually considered hosting for the old Western. I mean, the public domain stuff, which there's a lot of stuff out there. But it's not. If you'd have to be a true fan of westerns to really sit down and watch a lot of that stuff. But I do say that because I have just as much um, those nostalgic, endearing memories of the westerns, which I still love and can't get enough of whenever I do have time to watch a movie, as I do with the horror movies. It's just part of who I am and what I grew up with and loving. So, Tom says, anything with John Ford. Yes. Bonus says, that movie made me want to be a Marine. Sands is a classic, yeah. Interesting thing about that, too, is I'm sure some of you are aware of this, is the three Marines at the end who put up the flag were the three Marines pictured in the famous picture of them putting up the American flag. So that was like super cool to actually get them and put them in the movie. Paul says, I wanted to be a pilot after the first Top Gun. I think we all did. yeah, you're not alone. I think that just inspired a lot of people. Bonin says, the Duke and Clint Eastwood are definitely American legends. Yeah, that they are. Patty says, Quiet Man was based on a short story. Ford used it as an excuse for the studio to pay for a trip to Ireland for him and his family. That is why he insisted it be filmed in Ireland. He's using his noggin there. That wasn't a bad idea. And a successful one at that, yeah. Patty says, I think they filmed in County Sligo. John Wayne says, McClintock, Horse Soldiers, Hondo. Yeah, what about the Searchers? Remember the Searchers? Rio Lobo, oh my gosh. Sons of Katie Elder. Paul says, but then I saw Manos, and you guys know what happened after that. Yes, we all know the sad twist of things that happened after the Manos. Tom says, aren't you a bit young to have watched a lot of The Lone Ranger? Didn't it end in 57? Well, I watched the reruns. They played it weekly. It was playing. I remember watching that. I watched a lot of The Lone Ranger and Tarzan. And Ava and I just watched a Tarzan movie the other night. The Legend of... might have been called The Legend of Tarzan, maybe as simple as that. It was one that came out in, I think, 2016 or 17, and it was pretty decent. I used to get Tarzan comics and Lone Ranger comics, Zorro, stuff like that when I was a kid. You know, the comic books, and watch as much of that stuff as I could on TV. Bowden says, well, Manos, you know, the only factual thing I got in Top Gun is the Navy does have a Top Gun school, and they did fly F-14s. Other than that, there's nothing that's true or accurate. Hey, did you watch the new Top Gun movie? The newest one, the one that came out, like, what, 2 years ago? I gotta say, I loved that movie. Ava and I both loved that. That was really good. Patty says, Cowboy versus Dinosaurs. How many movies were made with those together? I can't imagine a lot of them. Tom says, I have a bunch of B Westerns on 6mm. Oh, do you? Do they have sound? I asked that because my 8mm projector and camera, when I was a kid, I used to make my own little films. Plus, my parents, you know, when we go on vacation and stuff like that, that was what our vacations were captured on those, and old, you know, pictures and that. We didn't have video cameras back then, but I mean, you know, they didn't have any sound to them. That's why I'm wondering if the 16mm did, or your particular projector. Brian says, Mel Brooks said they wanted John Wayne to play the Gene Wilder part in Blazing Saddles, but turned it down because he didn't get it. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. He was very particular, and in fact, he didn't have a love at all for Clint Eastwood and the type of anti-hero characters that Clint played. You know, Clint didn't play the white hat type of character. in his movies, of course. He was the he made the anti-hero Western character very popular at that time. So the man with no name. Patty says the 3 Marines who were pictured put up the flag, I think, weren't the original, but people say they found it to immediately reenact for the photo. I might want to look that up. I might want to, because I just watched something recently. It was during that John Wayne documentary where they said that they actually were. So I think that they were, but do I know that for fact? I don't. I'm not an expert enough about that to know it. But now I'm curious to know. Does anybody know? Does anybody? If you care, if we don't get that information tonight, maybe next Tuesday we can pull that up. Because I'm curious now. Bonin says, my dad introduced me to John Wayne movies. My dad liked his movies, but my dad was a World War II veteran, and he was always disappointed that Duke never served in the war. Yeah, I understand that, but I also understand sometimes there's an image. There's an image, a figure, and I understand there's play acting, and then there's the real thing. I was a police officer, of course. You know that, or some of you might. And if there was a symbol of law enforcement that held that particular occupation up, and what that occupation meant and stands for, or supposed to stand for, should, then I would have appreciation. A lot of vets did. I know what you're saying there. Obviously, that's something that, that's a real reaction. But there were a lot of vets, including my dad, Vietnam vet, who just really, really loved watching those movies. And but I understand that. But there's sometimes even the people who are for real, the real ones, can look at and appreciate the symbol. The symbol and how it makes their country or the armed services look, or that feeling you have for them. That's my 2 cents on it, and I know I'm not alone in that, anyways, because I know that I've heard a lot about that. There's a story coming to mind right now, and this is just to illustrate the point that I was making here. William Shatner was in a taxi. I remember reading this in an article where he was talking about an encounter he had with the taxi driver. And the taxi driver told him that he was actually a Vietnam veteran, and he was a prisoner of war. And he and his buddies there were actually inspired by. This is a really good example of that, because they're by Captain Kirk and Spock, and that camaraderie, and them overcoming their obstacles on through their journeys through space, and overcoming against all odds, and that type of thing. And William Shatner said he felt so humbled by that. Just felt like that small compared to, here's a guy who was really there. And he drew inspiration from a totally fictitious character, and it helped them. That's what I'm talking about. Is sometimes the real people and that symbol can really make a difference. It can, if done right. You have to have the right person for it, obviously. So. John says, don't forget Rio Bravo, 3 Godfathers, and the Calvary Trio. Tom says, I'm a big fan of the Westmoreland Tarzan. Yeah, and he was a really good friend with Clayton Moore, by the way, who played the Lone Ranger. Paul says, guys, I have to go. See you next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Call you tomorrow afternoon. Give a hug for Ava. All right, Paul. Well, thanks for joining us. Bonin says, no, I haven't had a chance to see Top Gun Maverick yet. Yes on sound. Oh, yes on sound. He had sound with a 60 millimeter. Oh, that's cool. That would be neat to hear, just to watch that and to hear the old projector. You know, to have that. I think there's something to that. You know, nowadays our audio, our visual is so clear and our audio is so crisp. Not on this show some of the times, but but you know, there is something, you know, nostalgic about hearing the, you know, the old reel to reel. Um, Full features, a few 12-part serials. Oh my gosh, that is really something. Yes, Wes Miller created the yodeling Tarzan cry. He was a yodel expert. Is that right? I did not know that. Wow, this is so. I love the fact that here we are at a chiller show. We're talking about John Wayne and Tarzan and westerns. I just this is funny to me. Not funny. It's fun. Uh, that a topic can be introduced like this. And honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, we say it's chiller, horror, science fiction, but man, I think we just appreciate old movies. You know, there's a lot of nostalgia uh, that got me to do this stuff in the first place. So, I mean, I love tonight's topic. This is great. I'm having a really fun, and it's 8:51. Oh my gosh, I could go another hour easily talking about this stuff. I really could. The westerns get me excited because that really, like I said, with the horror stuff, I grew up equally with the westerns, and that's why, like, I get excited when, you know, a topic like this comes up. Um, Brian says Valley of Gwangi. Hope I'm saying that right. 1964, Cowboys versus Dinosaurs. Stephanie says we didn't see either Top Gun 1 or 2. My mom can't stand Tom Cruise. Long story. Oh no. Well, then that's probably a good thing she didn't see that then. Because he's in it a lot. John says, John Wayne says, I'm wondering if when I log into the John Wayne account, I will appear as SBC again. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see who you're going to be next week. Bonin says the surviving three. Maybe we get an answer here. The three surviving flag raisers were in the scene when Duke gives them the flag and tells them to find a standard to set it up. Yeah. I thought that they were really there, and then I'm not sure if they used the actual footage of raising the flag, the actual footage, like the footage, but I do know that those three guys were in the movie. Tom says a lot of people can't stand Tom Cruise. I know! I like Tom Cruise, but yeah, I know a lot of people don't. John says Cowboys and Dinosaurs? I know that one is the Valley of the Gwangi. Gwangi, I wonder if I'm saying that right. Paul says, be safe out there, my chiller family. All right, you too, Paul. Thank you. Victor says, High Plains Drifter, my favorite Clint Eastwood movie. Oh, okay. Mine is, I've got to say, mine is still, I love the good, the bad, and the ugly. But my next one down from that is for a few dollars more. Love that movie. Bonin says, yes, that was. And the original Flag Raisers. I'm a former Marine Corps vet, so I do know. Awesome. So there we got it. We got it from the mouth right there, from the bonehead. But we got it right from a true Marine. So that's awesome. Went right to the source. Stephanie says, take care, Paul. Al says, Valley of Gwangi was a cowboy versus dino movie from 1969. Ray Harryhausen. Patty says, the guys were Marines who were there and pictured with the flag raising. I am not trying to disparage what they did. Oh no, you were just. I think you were just. The way I understood it, you were just asking, was that them who were in that scene? And Bonehead says yes, that was. So Tom says Hollywood actors are not being in the military just about single-handedly funded World War II, pushing war bonds. They did their duty. That's a really interesting way of looking at it too. So, oh, there's some hearts there from my baby Ava. All right, right back at you, baby. Let's see. John Wayne says, I'm just gonna keep saying it. Most of my relatives successfully avoided fighting in the Second World War. Patty says, I met Nimoy. I liked his sister and mother. He was rude. Oh no, was he really? Well, he went many, many years as an alcoholic. Maybe you caught him during that phase of his life, and it was a good phase of his life, quite a bit of it, to where he wasn't doing too well. PH Tristan says, for me, the best cowboy is Yosemite Sam. Bowden says, Yosemite Sam, when I say whoa, I mean whoa. The most classic cartoon that I ever saw. John Wayne says, night, Paul. I'll see you next week, then maybe again as SBC. Time will tell. A week will tell. Good, we got like 4 minutes. Patty says, conversation is always fluid, no telling where it will go. I know, that's why this, to me, is a very interesting hour. Mona says, you know, Brian, doesn't this make you glad that you kept doing this show? I, for one, am very glad, and I thank you for this. I am glad that I did it. I was mentioning this to Jason. I started to mention it. I was, like when I said I was going to disconnect, I was going to. So I could just focus entirely on you know, like the stuff I'm doing there with the Chill and Night Escape experience and everything that I'm trying to build up from that. But then I thought, after I announced it, a week went by, another week went by, and during that second week, I talked to Ava about it. I was like, you know, I don't think I want to give this part up. And I would like to come back with Chill and Night Theater at a time when I can do it right, not like, as I say, henpecking my way through it, you know, or Bryan Hogue's standing in for Jack Shadow. I didn't want that. The show is Jack Shadow, and I would only want to bring it back if I could do it right. But yes, I am glad that we kept this part of it going. So John says, you have been watching Chill and Night Live with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you that if it's cold outside, they're cold too. So bring in those ghosts and spirits. Until next week, stay chilled with a warm drink and keep thrilled. Yes, they are. They're outside. Those ghosts, they're chilly. They're chiller. PBR says, I just eat myself stupid with some of the best carrot cake that I got from a dinner down the street. So good. Oh, carrot cake. I love that. John Wayne says, remember Bonanza? Do I ever? Heck yeah. Michael Landon, Lauren Green. Yes, I do remember that. Stephanie says, sorry about the Tom Cruise thing, Brian. No. It sounds like Tom Cruise has something to be sorry about, you know, for some reason when it comes to your mom. Ava says, the Rifleman. Yes, the Rifleman. That, in my opinion, what a great show that was. That actually, for me, rivaled the Lone Ranger. That was a show that, man, I used to watch all the time with my dad. That was another one that we used to watch all the time. Brian says, Dirty Harry. Yeah, excellent movies. Patty says, stay safe all. You too. Patty, thanks for joining us. Bonin says, the original flag raisers' names are Ira Hayes and Renee Gagnon, Marines, and John Bradley was a Navy corpsman attached to the division. Ah, awesome information there, Bonin. Thank you. Bonin says, the Ponderosa. The Ponderosa. Yeah. Bonin says, I liked Laredo and Cheyenne and Have Gun Will Travel. All Western classics. Yeah. Paladin. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Take care all, Stephanie says. Bonin says, Have Gun Will Travel, audio spell. Yeah, I knew immediately what you meant. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that was a really awesome show. Very much so. I appreciate you guys joining me and each other here. And for another interesting topic, like I said, it doesn't always have to be horror or science fiction. Those are fun. But this stuff, you know, we're still going back to the days of yesteryear and talking about, chatting about those things of nostalgia. And, yeah, obviously it was a good and popular topic here tonight with the old westerns and John Wayne and going back a few years. Frank says, Hoagie. Hey, Frank, thanks for joining us. All right. Although we are about to put a cap on tonight's episode, Al says, good night, everyone. All right. Good night, Al. Good night, everybody else. And have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.